Have you ever looked back at a moment, a choice you made with all the best intentions, and felt a profound ache in your heart? For me, at 86, that moment was stepping through the doors of a nursing home. My loved ones spoke of safety, comfort, endless care, and I believed them, wholeheartedly. It felt like the sensible path, a gentle surrender to ease. But the reality that unfolded was a landscape I hadn't imagined, one painted with quiet losses and a growing sense of disconnection. Many of you, or those you cherish, might be standing at a similar crossroads. You might feel the pull towards what seems simplest, safest. But before that step becomes a stride, I want to share the unspoken truths. The 6 lessons I wish I'd known before I traded my familiar world for this new one. This isn't just about changing an address. It's about reshaping a life. And what you might not realize is, once you enter, the path back home becomes a maze. Stay with me, because these insights might surprise you, and for someone you care about, this could be the whisper they need to hear before making a choice that echoes through their remaining years. Let's talk about what truly changes. The very first breath I took within these walls felt different, not just because the air was cooler or the scent unfamiliar. It was the sudden, stark realization that the reins of my own life had slipped from my grasp. Before, my mornings were mine. A quiet cup of tea by the window, the soft rustle of newspaper, deciding whether to tend to my roses or spend the day with a cherished book. Here, a bell dictated when I woke, when I ate, when I rested. It wasn't just the big decisions. It was the small, sacred rituals that vanished. The freedom to simply walk to the garden on a whim, to choose my own clothes without a suggestion, to linger over a memory without an interruption. I remembered sitting up one morning, the light sterile, the bed not my own. I reached for my worn copy of Pride and Prejudice, the one that always sat on my nightstand at home. It wasn't there. Nothing was truly mine. Not the space, not the schedule, not even the quiet solitude I sometimes craved. My life had become a series of permissions, a curated existence where personal choice felt like a forgotten language. It taught me that independence, once surrendered, leaves a hollow space that few things can truly fill. The subtle erosion of autonomy starts with a caregiver choosing your outfit, then deciding your meal, then guiding your every step. You tell yourself it's for your own good, for safety, but with each surrendered decision, a piece of your independent spirit quietly recedes. It's like watching a tide go out, taking with it the familiar contours of your very self. That loss of control, the small daily battles for a shred of self-determination, becomes a constant hum beneath the surface of everything. You yearn for the simplest acts, to fill your own glass of water, to simply choose when to close your eyes for a nap. These seemingly minor freedoms were the bedrock of my life, and their absence left a profound and aching void. It's a silence you never knew could be so loud. Then came the quiet unraveling of connection, a loneliness that seeped in slowly, like mist at dawn. My children, my grandchildren, they promised weekly visits, Sunday lunches, lively calls, and they meant it, truly. In the early days, the hallway echoed with their laughter, the air warmed by their presence. But life, as it does, moved on. Schedules tightened, distances grew, and the phone calls became shorter, less frequent. Holidays, once a vibrant tapestry of family and shared joy, became days marked by a lingering hope, a silent vigil by the common room door, a promised visit, a birthday celebrated through a hasty phone call. It wasn't a deliberate abandonment. It was the world outside continuing its busy dance without me, without the constant, gentle reminder of my presence. When you're no longer part of the everyday rhythm, no longer there for the impromptu coffee or the shared evening news, it's easy to become an echo. You see other residents, their eyes darting to the door whenever a visitor passes, a silent prayer for connection. I remember holding my phone one chilly evening, the names of my loved ones bright on the screen. A part of me longed to call, to simply hear a voice, to remind them I was here. But another part, a new, hesitant part, whispered, "Don't be a burden. Don't interrupt their full lives." So I put the phone down, and the silence stretched, a testament to the chasm that can grow between presence and memory. It's a bitter truth, how easily you can slip from their minds when you're out of their sight. The emotional toll of being forgotten, of feeling invisible, is a weight that settles deep in your bones. It's a subtle sorrow that no amount of structured activity or kind words from staff can truly mend. Beyond lost time and fading connections, I discovered the crushing weight of a life stripped of its daily meaning. At home, every morning brought a purpose. My tiny herb garden needed tending. There were letters to write, a casserole to bake for a neighbor, a bookshelf to organize. These small acts, these gentle responsibilities, painted my days with color and structure. Here, everything was done for me. Meals arrived on a tray, laundry was collected, my room tidied by capable hands. At first, it felt like freedom, a reprieve from the daily grind. But soon, the days stretched into a vast, empty canvas. I saw it in others too. Sarah, who once spent hours knitting intricate shawls for all her grandchildren, now sat with idle hands, her needles packed away, her creative spirit stifled. Thomas, a retired engineer, who used to tinker endlessly in his garage, solving complex problems with his hands and mind, now stared blankly at a television, his once sharp intellect dull with inaction. "What is there to do?" he'd often ask, his voice a whisper of his former self, a soul adrift. When you no longer have something to nurture, something to contribute, something to build, the very essence of your being begins to fade. Life becomes a waiting game, a long, quiet pause between scheduled events, and the spirit, once vibrant, dims with each passing, purposeless day. This absence of meaningful engagement leaves not just a mental void, but a spiritual one. You begin to question your own value, your own reason for existing, when all your former purposes have been carefully removed. The quiet despair of an empty mind is a profound and unexpected grief. Then came the physical decline, a cruel acceleration I never anticipated. Before I moved here, I walked with purpose, tended my garden, carried my own groceries up the stairs. My body, though older, was still a willing vessel, kept active by the everyday necessities of life. But in this new environment, where convenience was paramount, movement became optional, almost discouraged. Meals appeared without me needing to stand. Clothes were put away without me reaching, and if I needed something, a button summoned assistance. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, my muscles began to protest. My steps grew hesitant, my balance less sure. The simple act of rising from a chair transformed into a small, arduous task. I watched others, vibrant and mobile upon arrival, slowly transition to walkers, then wheelchairs, their once strong limbs becoming frail relics. There was Robert, who used to walk miles every morning, insisting on his daily constitutional, now struggling to shuffle a few feet down the hallway. He'd look at his hands, once so strong, so capable, and say, "It feels like my body has forgotten how to be me." The ease of assisted living, I realized, is a double-edged sword. It offers comfort, Yes, but at the insidious cost of your physical resilience. For when your body stops being used, when every effort is negated by help, it starts to forget its purpose, and the journey back to strength becomes an uphill battle against time itself, often a battle already lost. The stark reality is that the less you are asked to do, the less you are capable of doing, leading to a faster, more profound physical decline than you could ever imagine. It's a cruel irony that care designed to make life easier often hastens its diminishment. And then, the quiet dignity of a lifetime slowly chipped away, like a statue eroded by persistent rain. At home, my bedroom was my sanctuary, a space where I could simply be, unseen, unheard, truly myself. I could close the door, spend hours in silent contemplation, or dance awkwardly to an old record, humming off-key. Here, privacy is a fleeting visitor. Staff enters with a perfunctory knock, sometimes not even waiting for an answer. Intimate moments, like dressing or personal care, now require assistance, transforming once private acts into shared experiences. It's not their fault. It's the nature of the system, designed for efficiency and oversight. But it's a profound shift to lose the inherent right to your own space, your own body, your own time. The quiet solitude of a closed door, the freedom to choose your own routine without consultation. These become luxuries. Sharing a room, a common occurrence for many, added another layer of lost autonomy. I was fortunate to have a kind roommate, but I've seen others endure restless nights and constant clashes, unable to escape the constant presence of another. Your name becomes a label on a chart, your life a series of scheduled events, and the person you once were starts to fade, replaced by a patient on a list. It's a subtle but relentless erosion of self, a constant reminder that you are no longer truly in charge of your own existence, but rather a subject of care. The quiet shame of losing control over your own body, the need to ask permission for the most basic human functions, leaves a lasting mark on the spirit. Perhaps the most startling truth, the one that truly binds you, is the realization that leaving is far harder than entering. When I first arrived, I told myself this was temporary, a short stay to regain strength or just to try it out. The thought of returning home was always there, a comfort, a beacon. But home, I soon learned, wasn't waiting for me in the same way. My house sat empty, accumulating dust, its garden overgrown. The thought of maintaining it from afar felt overwhelming, a task for a younger, stronger version of myself. My children, with good intentions, had already begun to make changes, selling pieces they thought I no longer needed, discussing renting out the place to help with the accumulating costs. When I cautiously raised the idea of going back, their faces clouded with concern, their voices filled with gentle, persuasive arguments. "Are you sure, Mother? It's so much safer here. We just want what's best." And then there was my own body, weakened by months of inaction, making the very idea of managing on my own a daunting prospect. The confidence I once held in my ability to live independently had eroded, replaced by a quiet fear of the outside world, a fear that kept me tethered. I watched others trapped in the same snare, their homes sold, their savings consumed by the very care meant to assist them. The temporary became permanent, a silent, unbreakable chain. Moving in felt like a reversible decision, a choice with an easy exit. But for so many, it's a one-way street, the nursing home slowly encompassing their entire world, until the life they once knew becomes a distant, fading dream, a memory from another lifetime. The layers of financial entanglement, physical decline, and the subtle emotional conditioning make the thought of independent living seem not just difficult, but almost impossible. It's the ultimate paradox. The choice made for safety ultimately becomes a cage. Looking back now, with the clear sight that only deep regret can bring, I don't lament the passage of time or the lines etched upon my face. My true regret is the choice, born of practicality and good intentions, to enter a nursing home without fully understanding its true cost. I arrived here seeking comfort and safety, a gentle haven. Instead, I found a place that, brick by brick, took away my independence, my cherished privacy, my sense of purpose, and even the vital spark that made me feel fully alive. Does this mean nursing homes are inherently bad? Not at all. For some, the level of care and support they provide is a genuine necessity, a lifeline for chronic conditions or severe incapacitation. But before you, or someone you love, takes that life-altering step, I implore you, pause. Consider deeply what you might be surrendering. Because once you cross that threshold, life as you've known it will never be the same. If I could rewrite my story, I would have fought harder to remain in my own home, explored every possible alternative that allowed me to retain my freedoms, and ensured beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was my only path. And if you stand at this decision point today, ask yourself, with all the honesty you possess, is this truly what is best for me, or is it simply what seems easiest in this moment? For the life you live today, your routines, your independence, your precious choices, is a treasure worth holding on to for as long as your spirit can bear it. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. I invite you to share your own thoughts below, to perhaps illuminate a path for others, or to simply find solace in shared wisdom. Your voice matters, and if this resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. A gentle warning, a heartfelt plea to truly see before they leap. Until next time, hold on to your life with both hands and cherish every single moment of your hard-won freedom.